because of the filtration system in the airplanes, airplane air is one of the cleanest airs you can have.
So it's the equivalent of an operating room quality of air. It's clean, it turns over.
What has been the most difficult or challenging?
Really resizing our airline to the new reality that we're going through, and we try to do everything we can to make that as painless as possible on the people side. So we're a people-centric culture and really a family. So we've had over 17,000 of our employees take an early retirement or early exit. And it's really saying goodbye to those folks has been very, very difficult because these are friends, and colleagues that they still will be for the rest of my life. But not to have the privilege to work with them every day, it's painful.
Do you think that even after COVID, that there'll be a full return on to the same level of travel across the country?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, of course, time will tell the lasting effects of COVID, and I think there's a couple of things that stand out. First, safety is here with us from now on in terms of fighting COVID. So some of the things we're doing, like the cleaning processes, and those will stay on forever. I think in terms of traveling public and the behavior, I think there's a couple of things. One is there's probably a pent-up demand to travel, certainly on the leisure front. I think people miss not being able to go places to the degree they had before. So I think that pent-up demand will return quickly. But I think the business travel, to your point, will be a little longer tail to recover.
When did it really hit you that this was going to be a major event and a shift in the industry?
What we've seen, impact our business, of course, has impacted our stock value as well. So the team, we know we're in it for the long term. So, it's if you looked at these things day to day, you'd be depressed, I think. Yeah. But we try to keep the long view. We have, and if you think about when we come out of COVID, we have some structural advantages that will only, I think, really set us apart on the backside. And some of those are, again, the people we have, the team we have, the culture we have, the brand we have, the customer experience, our ability to operate at a level the industry's never seen before. All those things really, I think, give us an advantage as we come out of this to actually do even better than we were before at some point.
I do believe that the way I see it, I think Delta has not just been a leader in the travel industry, but really a leader among corporate America. Because as you said, he's one of the first people to feel the effects of the virus and having to really, there was no work from home solution. You really had to figure out how to keep, and you had it, and I remember in the very early days when you were offering free flights to nurses up to New York, to the epicenter of the virus. This was really, I think, fantastic.
Yeah, we tried to lean into the situation. So, that we built face shields for the VA hospitals and did that for them. We actually converted shipping containers into hospital pods for the military, so they could ship soldiers that had COVID, contracted COVID, inside these pods where we installed HEPA filters and hospital beds. And it's just the team's been able to kind of pivot to those type of things and really give back through a really unfortunate situation.
Yeah. Over the last few months, the other thing that's happened is there's been a lot of unrest around racial inequality, and particularly in Atlanta, we see a lot of it. I know a lot of companies are looking to now see how they can improve diversity among their employees, particularly their officers and directors. Is Delta looking at something like that as well?
absolutely. Yeah, I think we've had a long history of diversity, and but it's something that you can never over-index in, and we're really working hard to improve our diversity. We have probably one of the, if you look at it statistically, one of the most diverse workforces in the world. But we also understand that our leadership has to reflect the diversity of our workforce, and our workforce already reflects the diversity of the communities that we serve. So, and we've got to continue to take an active role in that and make sure that we're giving people opportunities for success, and ultimately trying to find the pipelines for talent that we can create a more diverse leadership team as well.
Right. The 737 MAX plane for Boeing, and I know Delta didn't order any of these, but as someone, I'm just curious, you're a mechanical engineer, you're in the industry. What are your thoughts on how that situation was handled? Any lessons that you can take away from that?
Well, as I mentioned, I started my career at Boeing as an engineer, and Boeing's got incredible talent. They're probably the best engineering company in the whole world. So, just like, and I think the strength of our industry as a whole is that we're very transparent about safety, and I think you can't fix something that you don't acknowledge or go after transparently. And the industry is really, and the safety record of our industry is just unparalleled. So I think there are mistakes made. Boeing's acknowledged that, but they are very quick to learn lessons from that and put things in place to take safety to the next level. I mean, it's already incredible level of safety, but to really drive that zero defect mentality, they've redesigned the systems of the aircraft to add yet more redundancy to the system. And and I think that's fundamental to the design of aircraft is redundancies, to make sure that you don't rely on one system for safety, but there's multiple layers of backup. And Boeing's done a great job, I think, focusing on that.
One of the concerns that I've heard about aviation systems, and it actually kind of applies also to kind of self-driving cars, but with the autopilot systems, where pilots have become so reliant on the autopilot system that they aren't able to, they're not as trained as much or spend as much time flying the plane or adapting to emergency situations manually. And I think that was part of the situation with the Boeing MAX, which I can't remember exactly what, I thought it was related. But do you see, as pilots get more reliant on the automated systems, do you see a change in that?
Yeah, I just think, fundamentally, automation can't replace good piloting skills. That is the backbone of the system. We're fortunate to have the best pilots in the world. But, as you look across the world, the pilot capabilities and training are a big part of the equation as well. So I think that's another a huge lesson learned for the industry in some of the more developing countries is how do you elevate pilot skills? And so I know from a training standpoint, there's a lot of thought being given to that as well. The automation's great. And again, there's layers of protection built into that. And it's very important design philosophy within all modern aircraft. But at the end of the day, that basic stick and rudder skill is so important. And so our pilots, as an example, they can, while you can have automation do a number of things, they frequently get manual landings, takeoffs, those kind of things that so they don't lose the skill sets that they all have.
One of the areas you're responsible for is Delta's innovations. When you think about what some of the major innovations in the last several years have been there, what comes to mind?
Yeah, well, we've really tried to lead in our business with innovation, and our philosophically, the way we look at it is it's probably two pieces to innovation. There's what we call big eye innovation, that kind of disruptive innovation, and then there's little eye innovation, and those are the things that you can play the game better, but it may not be transformative in that sense. So we try to do both of those, and so we've created an innovation center on campus at Georgia Tech that we call the Hangar.
Right.
And we have a mix of Delta people along with Georgia Tech students that come together and really ideate. Now we're application led in principle, so we're not really chasing shiny objects. We're looking for technology as an application to either solve a problem or improve the experience, or certainly continue to drive the performance of the airline. And we've been able to innovate on a wide variety of fronts. So maybe just a couple of examples. So one is, and we'll typically try to do a small equity investment. So we've got a corporate venture capital fund. We're part of Engage, which is really, I think, the only corporate venture fund for multiple corporations, which is part of United, or part of kind of United group around Atlanta's corporate headquarters.
Yeah,
Blake's done an incredible job leading that, and so we participate in that. But so that'll give us a preview into things. But we've also looked to, invest in other companies, and we source those. So a couple of examples: we were out at Consumer Electronics Show and showcased these, and literally kind of won best in show for both, which is a tough competitive group. One is what's called Sarcos. It's it's really a human augmentation, a suit you put on that gives you kind of these superpowers to lift things and move things. And we're a physical environment, right? If you look outside the window of an aircraft at a gate, you see people throwing bags, moving things. We also have big cargo business. The parts on the aircraft are big and heavy, and so moving those around as well. So we invested in this company, and they've really helped us from an ergonomic standpoint, with some game-changing technology. The other company that was interesting is a virtual reality company, if you will, but this is so if you're walking through an airport as an example, and you look at a sign to see what gate you're going to, you'll see a laundry list of flights, and you've got to pick your. Well, we found a company that literally we can customize that display for you, and also customize it for me right beside you at the same time. So as you look at that monitor, you'll see one thing, and I'll see something completely different. So through whether it's RFID technology, facial biometrics, a number of different API feeds, it will know you from me and distinguish between us, and then customize that information and personalize the experience for you. So the application of this, of course, is plentiful, whether it's through the airport or even in all parts of society. And the folks that went through that at CES were literally blown away with it. We had actually planned to launch the display technology in March. Of course, the COVID came out, so we'll launch that kind of on the backside of that, do a pilot in Detroit Airport first. And we've been doing pilot programs now with the Sarcos technology, in our what we call our technical operations, our maintenance engineering organization, to experiment with that. So we're excited about both of those companies. There's many others that we partnered with, but it's a channel of innovation for us where we're able to try things, again, with an eye towards application. We've also partnered with a company called Vito Vio, and they've created, the founder, she's an amazing person, and she's created a light bulb that is a disinfecting light bulb. And in the world of COVID, you can, of course, see that application. So we're installing that right now on our 757 fleets in our laboratories.
Do you see, in terms of travel itself, do you see anything, I've heard there's talks of maybe electric electric planes? Do you think that would ever happen?
I think so. It's a matter of time. We are, we'll go through phases of that. So I think you're seeing small two passenger type planes start to adopt electrification. You'll see it, I think, as it starts into the commercial world, originally on business jets, but then regional type aircraft, and eventually commercial aircraft. There'll probably be a hybrid power plants first. All the engine manufacturers, so Pratt & Whitney, General Electric, Rolls-Royce aircraft engines, I think they're all researching the technology, looking for pilot programs. So, I think it's
different plastic. It's the batteries.
It's the batteries and the weight, basically, right now. Which is, of course, in the world of aviation, light means everything. So the technologies, I think, will continue to have to evolve, but you can see the path forward with it.
Recharging would probably take a while too.
Yeah, well, the fast charging systems are going to be key to that because the ground times are really important for the business model to minimize the amount of time the aircraft are not flying. So the charging systems will be an important part of the model.
What about, Porsche, I've heard is working on a flying car.
Yep.
Heard about that?
Yeah, I have. Well, of course, you go back far enough. If you're old as I am, they adapted the 911 engine and put it in aircraft once upon a time. So it's not their first foray into aviation, but it'd be interesting to see. I think they're, as engineers, they're very innovative. So I look forward to seeing that model. That'll be pretty cool.
What about supersonic flight? Virgin Galactic, I think, announced that they're working on a version of their kind of space vehicle that would basically be able to get from, I think they said, say New York to London in 90 minutes.
Yeah. So hyper, first supersonic, of course, has been in place for decades. Concorde is an example. I think the technology, it's primarily been a military application to this point, hypersonic. So the speeds are staggering. So I think you'll see that technology potentially emerge commercially. It's a really difficult business model commercially because the expense of the technology, the maintenance expenses that are associated with it. The fuel burn. Yeah, it's again, the speeds are amazing, but the cost of that is prohibitive, really. So the commercial model, while there may be a market for some of that, it's going to be a pretty small market, really.
Right. So what would you say is your biggest kind of key, if you look back at your career, you got this tremendous career and experience, what would you say has been the key to your success getting you to this point?
Well, personally, I think it's just ability to work as a team, team member, because the reality is, no one has all the right ideas, and it's a process and a team that basically can create and execute things that no one person can do. So I think, that's reflective of kind of my upbringing. Played a lot of sports as a kid, so all those things I think have helped me a lot.
What was your sport?
Well, I played all sports as a kid. This was pre-video era, so there wasn't anything to do but play sports. So, but basketball was always my favorite. Yeah.
You still shoot some hoops now?
Not so much. It's depressing when I do. So after my kids kind of went through high school, I more or less stopped playing basketball. Now I try to play a little bit of golf occasionally, a little smaller ball, but that's even more frustrating. It's even more frustrating.
What advice would you have for somebody who's getting their start early, whether they're in college or just getting out of college, whether it's getting started business or mechanical engineering? Like what kind of things would you say to them, especially in these times we're going through now?
Well, it's great question. So I mean, maybe it's more philosophical than anything. For me, it's I think first of all, work ethics is key, right? I mean, you should never turn off is the reality of it. It's not, if you're going to really make a career and have an impact, it's never a 9-to-5 job. You are taking it home, you're sleeping, thinking about it. I think that another aspect is learning constantly, because it's something that, you should never stop learning, because things are always changing, especially in today's world. Like goodness, technology is an example. It's just all we can do to keep pace. So I think keeping learning is another key part of it. And then be responsible, right? Manage for results, don't manage activities. So I think always think about, what are you trying to achieve, and find that path rather than just go, try to manage, for activities again, and I think those are keys to being successful. And then be a team player at the end of the day. Don't take credit for the results, be a part of the results. And I think that gives people the comfort that you're somebody they want to work with and create with, and then it's amazing, the doors that open on the backside of that, because the reality is, people come and go and do different things. But if you're able to work with people as a team and create results, then boy, people want you to be on the team. So your career just goes and goes and goes.
Yeah, I think those are all excellent points, excellent advice. Gil, it's been really, really fun being with you on this ride. This has been just fabulous. Really a highlight. Been looking forward to this for a while, and I'm excited we just got a chance to do it. Thank you for being on Techrides, and thank you for letting me ride in this beautiful car, and just for all the great work you're doing. It's just really great to get to know you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. And certainly enjoyed our ride together. We'll have to do it again soon. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. You've got a lot of great cars, so just pick the next one you want to ride anytime.
Okay, we'll go in an old Volvo with it.
Yeah, I love it.